Hello, and welcome back to another CSGO match, this time between Espada and EnVyUs Academy on Inferno. And after the knife round, Espada has decided to go on to the CT side there. And in this first round, it appears that they'd like to play a bit of a retake situation on B if it comes to that. We have Passionod just going for a bit of information play there up in apartments, and Jax and Petite Skull playing for a little bit of information. Maybe seeing if they can't actually sort of bait out a bit of a response from the CT side, who are playing quite patiently. Likewise, they attempted something similar up here in Banana, but that hasn't worked, so now they are creeping up onto A, and they're running right into a stack, which this might not work out quite as well as they would like it to. There will be a bit of utility thrown in from Lambert here, but whether that will actually work out for them is yet to be seen. And Espada don't know that EnVyUs Academy has done an around the world situation. That said though, excellent first kill from EnVyUs, but he is not able to follow up with Jax taking him down. We are getting a bit of a rotate on Banana with the 3 remaining CTs. And this will be called out soon that they're all there, so they will just want to play a little bit more conservatively and just hold those angles. And excellent read from EnVyUs there, and gotta say, a little bit unfortunate for Espada there to allow them through. So they will pick up the first round, EnVyUs Academy that is, and we'll follow it up with 4 MAC-10s, so they are looking to make a bit of money here. Espada, on the other hand, going for a bit more of a traditional play with 2 on B and 2 on B, 3 on A, and we'll see how that works out for them. EnVyUs Academy, though, not looking to rush into any kind of kill situation here where they would just get lined up and taken down. They still want to play for information, which is a conservative but intelligent move here. There's no reason to give away any guns in a situation like this and end up in a bit of a reset. They have thrown a bit of utility into B, hoping to perhaps bait some players away from A. However, Luke would have almost certainly heard 1 or 2 players going that way, and they're still not completely certain as to who is where, but they are just trying to sort of stick to their guns and see what they can get away with. EnVyUs Academy, on the other hand, might be wanting to do another around the world kind of play there, or alternatively just stick with the A site, and that turns out to work for them quite well, as they do actually end up taking the site with only losing 1 player. And to be honest, that was a MAC-10. Trevel will go down in the library. At this stage, it's up to EnVyUs whether he does want to save that armor, pistol, and utility. In this case, up against 4 players, it's not really a whole deal he can hope to really achieve here. We'll just allow that to run down. He might, however, get an exit kill. He will get 1, but will he get the second? He is allowed to live, unfortunately, for the EnVyUs Academy side. That said, though, he was only able to deprive them of a MAC-10. So ultimately, not the worst situation. EnVyUs might be a little bit better off going into the next round. And yet again, we're seeing the bomb left down at the bottom of T stairs, so they are just going to look to get a bit more information before they decide which way they'd like to go. 6 are picking up Passionod in the apartments, which at this stage leaves only Romy on site with just a USP, no armor or utility. He is quite bare. So if they do decide to make a push onto the A side, he won't last very long. On the other hand, though, we do have a slight push coming in from Eagle, and who else is that? petite as well. And it looks like they are just going to throw a bit of utility and allow... Oh, no, this is not good. Luke able to pick himself up at a kill. And they will perhaps risk getting that gun there. And at this stage, Romy is able to get 1 kill, which, to be honest, all things considered, is a lot more than he should have been able to get away with. It would have caught Luke on the Archer side there. But are they aware of Trevel and EnVyUs moving up? They are now, and the kill cam would have seen that. So we have a 3 versus 2 on the T's to CTs, and it was almost in. It was briefly a numbers game for Espada, but unfortunately, them being on an eco, the numbers don't really count for much. However, that said, this is going to be their first buy round, and this is where things get particularly interesting. Whilst Inferno does have a lot of sharp angles for you to hold for the economy inclined, the rifles will give us a much better idea as to what kind of game we're seeing here. And Luke unfortunately picked out there, and that is not the greatest use of the AWP, to be honest. Lambert copping a bit of team damage, it seems, and Romy's locked out of the site almost completely. He's just going to try and maybe pick up 1 or 2 kills, but at this stage, this is a 2 versus 3 retake onto B, and one of those players has an AWP as well. That'll be Jax, who hasn't seen Romy in the smoke, and Romy's able to... Oof. Romy is able to pick up the AWP kill. However, he is not able to follow it up with the extra 2 kills needed to win the round. And EnVyUs Academy do make it 4-0. Considering this, Espada has to go for a bit of a just a pistol buy here. Romy, however, has got armor and helmet, which at this stage of the game might not be the greatest idea, purely for the fact that all the EnVyUs players are sure to have rifles, and they do. In fact, one of them's got an AWP, so the only person that helmet is actually going to help against might be Sixer. Otherwise, it's an instant headshot kill from the AKs. You have 2 of the EnVyUs Academy players moving up banana here. As usual, just trying to bait out some information or some plays. I think they really want Espada to be more aggressive than they are. And at this stage, it seems like exactly what they've planned for. So the fact that they're not doing this is not necessarily a problem for EnVyUs Academy. As we've seen, they're able to take these sites, and Espada might have to actually try that at some point if they want to get some kind of results. And EnVyUs is able to get 1 kill on that site there. Romy, on the other hand, the one who invested in the armor, isn't really able to do much. Luke does go down, and heck, if there's a time for that armor to come in handy, this would be it. However, he's not entirely aware that Sixer is lurking, hoping to pick up a flank, which he does. And it's not the cleanest round for the T's, EnVyUs Academy, but that said, they don't really need it considering their economy is so strong at the moment. Looking at Lambert, he's fully loaded up with an AWP, and he's got 12,000. So I think they've got at least a few rounds in them. It's going to take a fair bit of work from the CTs to actually break their economy. And we're actually seeing a bit more aggression, a lot more utility used in Banana here. And to be honest, a bit more attention from the EnVyUs team over to this side. There's only 1 player over on the A side. Espada going back to their usual 2B, 3A split. With no eyes on mid though, which, to be honest, does deprive them of a bit of information. Passional will get Sixer in the apartments though, so that lurk is gone, and if they don't see any real follow-up or attempts for a trade here, they might start to get suspicious, which would explain why they've got these 3 players over here. Luke has set up a good angle with this AWP. He's not able to make use of it though. Will they expect Trevel up here though? And they won't. He does get himself 2 and a bit kills. And there we go. That is finally a round for the Espada side, as they're able to pick up EnVyUs Academy as they run in and get mowed down. That said though, EnVyUs themselves only able to pick up 1 kill onto the CT, sorry. However, their economy is going to be a bit more fragile. T side though have got all they need for this next round. They might have to play a little bit more careful, which, considering how careful they've been playing already, is saying something. They're looking to sort of hold off any kind of push onto Banana. EnVyUs getting shot through the smoke. Just a lucky spray, I guess. Well, that's got to leave him feeling a little bit sour at the odds there. Luke, however, with the AWP, pushing down to see if he can't get a little bit more information. Passionno and Romy have to be feeling a little bit suspicious now. That flash, they must know that that angle can only come from apartments. And they have an excellent molly to hold onto the Diggity side. We have 3 players back onto A now, 3 CT players. It was a wise call considering the amount of noise and attention that this site is getting from the terrorists. Luke has got to get that call to move soon. Romy not able to get the spray. And that is an excellent A site take from EnVyUs Academy. Really, at this stage, Luke has no choice but to hope to hold off any would-be hunters searching for that AWP or that kill. And at this stage, EnVyUs would be very wise to start hunting him down. They're doing exactly that. They've sent 4 players out to hunt this particular player. They don't want him to keep that AWP at all. He's got to creep around this corner. He's got to score a kill there. But now the hunt is on. They're going to know that something's going on here, and Jax will come up behind Luke, score the kill. They already have an AWP themselves, so they don't really need to worry about that. And we do have a dropped AK. Now, unfortunately, that is a terrible reset to happen for Espada, especially at this stage in the game as well. EnVyUs economy is only going to get stronger at this point. Romy yet again going for that helmet. I don't completely understand it. It's not going to help you against T players. That AK is pretty lethal to that headshot. Luke getting a little bit cheeky here, it seems. Regardless of who you're going for, maybe you just want to see this happen. And he will run out, hopefully. We are seeing a lot of attention towards this midsection here. They won't push whilst the molly is there because they don't want to really control their angles too bad. And they're going to creep around. And this might be exactly... Oh, so close. Lambert brought down to 20 health, and it's just EnVyUs left. He's been spotted, so he'll be soon taken out, and that's pretty much going to be it. EnVyUs Academy having a ball on this terrorist side. Espada have got to hopefully come up with something to really blunt what they're seeing here. They're seeing very passive work being done by EnVyUs, who are quite patient and happy to just find out all the information they need to make a well-informed decision as to what they need to do. Do we need to go to A? Do we need to go to B? Who is where? In fact, the only round we've really seen from Espada is where they've gotten that info, that recon. Just, they got it wrong and they ran into a site that was stacked. But we will see... I'm going to call it 2/3 of a buy, because 4 have rifles, 1 has an MP9, and Passionno did that clearly to get the utility, and what a choice that was. He may be able to grab himself an AK if he decides it is worth the trouble, and it most certainly is. EnVyUs, on the other hand, have decided to try and run into this A side, or maybe even just show a bit of aggression, hopefully to pick up a kill, but it doesn't work out for them. Espada, on the other hand, starting to get a little bit suspicious that it could be an A play. With 45 seconds left, EnVyUs do have a bit of time to make a call as to whether they want to go for one or the other, but they are slowly but surely working up towards this A side, and we don't know if Travel heard that. Oh, excellent timing on those peaks allows Espada to, well, you'd think they would be able to close this one out, but let's see. We do have Jax, the lone last terrorist here, with a bit of work to do. Now, considering EnVyUs' economy, it's a bit of a mixed bag as to whether he just wants to try and cause some real damage for the CTs, or whether he just wants to die outright and or save. In this case, looks like it's the save. I mean, your economy is going to be good either way. 4,900 might have put him in the exact same position he would have been otherwise for that buy. But that said, considering the numbers difference, it's much easier to buy up on a T side than it is a CT side. I rather would have just hunted for the kills and caused some real economic damage to the CTs. And we are seeing something we have not seen from EnVyUs this round, and that is a rush onto a site. And poor EnVyUs, he will get... Oh lordy. Vika, what are you doing? You are just getting burnt alive there. As you can see, Sixer getting a lovely assist onto his teammate. At this stage, they've scored a couple of kills onto this B side. They might decide that it is actually worth it. And Passionar able to get that flank, which is going to prove critical in a round like this. They might just decide they want to go for it now. There we go. We do have the rush into that, and that is it. They've got it. As long as they have the kit. Passionar, you got to go for this one. This is on you, buddy. And he will get it. Fortunately for Espada. Yet again, it seems like whenever EnVyUs lose a round, it's because they try to rush things. That patience that they've been showing in other rounds has paid off for them so well. And considering they might want to just shake things up a bit and rush a site, they think it's going to throw them off, but it's just proven not to. We will see a three-man stack onto the B side here from the CTs. They'll know that there's at least an AWP and a rifle on this site, which might want to make them reconsider this. That's a lot of utility being thrown by the Ts onto the B side. It could very well be that they'd like to force a rotate here, but without the information play coming out of Sixer on this side, I don't think they can really risk running back to A too fast without knowing what they're getting into. The only time they're going to want to do that is if there is just no other information. But they have a minute left. They have been patient so far. They might be able to get something out of this. Luke, feeling that whilst there's a lot of noise over on B, maybe they're not going to go for it. Maybe it's just a bit of misdirection here. It seems like that might have been the right call to make, as at 40 seconds and so much utility left, they're going to have to make a decision here as to what they're going to do. Brommy will get taken out, and it will have to be a rotate. Oof. Luke sitting on the site there trying to hold an angle, doesn't really have the chance to scope in and out, lest he wants to give away his position. They will flame off that side there, and we may see a well-timed peek from... Yep, we will. EnVyUs does go down. Trevel will see him, but will also be seen in turn and will get taken out in Boiler. Seems that the combination of patience and knowing good smokes, flashes, mollies, all that kind of good stuff is paying off for EnVyUs here. Espada having a bit of a difficult time reading the situation. To their credit though, they're not really rushing out and trying to get too antsy over this. They are just trying to sit back and read these situations or these rounds as they come. Unfortunately, it just hasn't worked out for them so far. You will see a bit of smoke coming in. Classic cross smoke there. Usually used to telegraph that you are gonna try and make a play onto B. Luke, however, does get taken down in mid and might have been able to see something that would help his fellow teammates. Passioner will go down in apartments though. And Romy, who we didn't expect to get a kill with the USP before, does this time. And if he's able to lurk well enough, he could get another one. Oh. Oh no. Oh. Oh yes, Romy. You're able to get that. He won't get this one though, and he will go down. And it is up to the B players, EnVyUs and Travel, to come in and try and get something. If anything, they'll be lucky to run into Sixer, although they'd be lucky to run into him at a different angle than that. At this stage, they might just be looking to get some exits, and they will creep up. Travel does get this exact angle that he wants. Will Sixer look the other way? He won't, and a simple pop, and he is gone. It's now Travel's job to run away giggling with that AWP. It's a bit of a mystery as to whether he will be able to get away with it though. He is expecting something to happen there. However, EnVyUs is able to pick up the AWP, and will he try to? He will, and this might be a bit of a disaster, as Lambert will try to come up behind him, but he won't need to, as his vehicle jumps off the edge and dies. I guess at this stage, if you got that much money, you don't really have to worry about jumping off an edge and going splat. We do see another buy from Espada, another rifle buy that is. Passioner getting the armor and helmets, which in this case might help. But to be honest, if they get reset again here, or take another loss, that extra moolah might have been better used on utility. Because at this stage we know the helmet doesn't really do much, and they're all on AKs and AWPs. Travel taking a bit of a peek out there, doesn't actually see that much, so can't really report back to HQ as to whether they are setting up for anything on Banana. That jump and Molotov will alert them to one or two players being around there, but we are seeing a rather intimate stack here. Very close together the CTs are, which may work out. And Passioner, this is going to be interesting. He's going to report that they are in the apps. He's going to have to throw a molly here to try and hold them back, which will blunt the run onto A somewhat. Travel's still on that B side there. They may have to call this rotate in soon. They are slowly working up. Jax has been spotted in library. He is able to run back. Luke, on the other hand, trying to watch for that rush out of apartments. He will get one before he is ultimately traded. And it's up to EnVyUs and Travel here to try and take this site back. However, with a lot of sound made, and surely Sixer would have called in that side, they should be keeping their eyes on the Archer's library side here. Oh, they're a little bit unsure. This might give EnVyUs one kill, but as soon as they've locked onto him, as soon as they smell that blood in the water, that's it. And he is done. We go on to round number 14 here, with the EnVyUs Academy side breezing through this half. In fact, they look like they're having a bit of fun with it. Espada, on the other hand, have to decide whether they want to save up for that last round, which is exactly what they're doing by the looks of it. Luke, yet again, he wants that Zeus kill. I want him to get that Zeus kill. See, even in these eco rounds, even if they're keeping track of the enemy's economy and know they're on pistols, they just don't want to give them anything. It doesn't matter what kind of round it is, you take your time, You pick your fights wisely. You find out where they are, and you make that decision from there. Which, it's good that they're able to keep that discipline when it comes to that. Oh, yes! Thank you, Luke. He is gifted an AK for his troubles, which Jack might want to try and get back off him. We are actually seeing a bit of a play towards the B site now. So Romy will be able to get at least an AK from this, and considering their whole goal is to, build up their economy for the last round, Romy might just want to hang on to this rifle and not really press things. He'll also want to keep his rifle out. I was a little bit anxious when he just had the P250. He would have seen Jax going into boiler by the looks of it. The terrorists on the other side, they've got a lot of money, but they don't really want to hunt him either. Bit of an interesting play. This is a bit of a missed connection. Romy and Jax will not rendezvous. Their date will have to be rescheduled for the next round. This next round is the last round of this half, so we should see the CTs using up all of their money. The Ts don't have to worry about a thing. EnVyUs Academy having a lot of fun this half and able to show it with that dollar value. Lambert going into the last round at $15,600. He don't give no shits. And that was a little bit disastrous for Espada. That play in the middle there. Knowing that there might be, at maximum, only 1 or 2 additional players on here. Academy just decide that they want to rush onto that site, and fair enough. It is now a 2 versus 3 retake situation for Espada. There is no save here. They have to make a move. And at this stage, with Trevel on lower health, it is not looking too fun for them. Are they going to expect this, though? They won't. Excellent peek from Vehicle there. And he will pop out and pretty much win the round in one swoop. Welcome back into the second half. Now these first rounds are going to be critical for Espada. 3-12 on a historically CT-sided map. At this stage, we'll have to see what their own patience looks like, whether they'll be able to try and use EnVyUs' tricks against them, or whether they will just be able to get those excellent opening kills. EnVyUs showing a little bit of aggression towards mid, but not towards banana, which in this case is going to be a better decision. It's a tough run back from cart or car, or whichever version you first learned of Inferno. However, EnVyUs are setting up for a B push here, and it is go time. They're committing everyone to B. We will see Romy going down. The rest looping through Con, just lining up. Jax scoring some excellent kills here. And it is down to Luke, who will fall. And I'll tell you, if Espada did not feel a fire under them before, they certainly do now. This is starting to get quite serious for them. Do they force up here? Or do they save in the hopes of blunting them on that faded match point, or round 15 for EnVyUs actually? You don't see any additional aggression towards mid from EnVyUs that we saw last round. They want to hold back here and not give the enemy anything. However, that said, Romy will score a kill towards Diggity's side there. Or mid, sorry. And that is going to make him feel quite happy. Having that one player advantage will be quite good. Trevel about to set off the Bulldog. Or dog, whatever you want to call it. Vehicle not really seeing anything there. And I do apologize if I am butchering the pronunciation or names of any of these players. Romy able to get a trade onto Diggity. However, he himself will be traded down. And it is a 3-on-3. However, they have forced an almost rotation from EnVyUs. However, they call it at the last second and they don't want to leave B alone completely. But that said though, Vehicle is basically out of this site here. He will see a bit of a push from from Bashna into Con, who scores 2 excellent kills and makes this win a reality for them. Gets the 3rd with the deagle, and that has just got to feel crisp. That's got to feel good. And as mentioned before, T economy, the terrorist economy, is easier to work with than the CT economy. So what we've seen there is a bit of a reset onto EnVyUs Academy. However, in true EnVyUs fashion, you find your gun and you stick with it. They have got 4 CZs. And it seems like they would rather play some tight angles. And in the case of Vehicle, the long angle with the deagle, which is how you should play it, just to get those crisp headshots. Maybe hoping to get a bit of revenge on Passional there. Espada themselves fairly spread across the different locations there. They will have the bomb in mid on Luke, who is keeping an eye here. However, as soon as he goes down, if he goes down, that is going to create a bit of a problem. Trevel will score a kill towards mid, and it is pretty much onto A site. Lambert able to get at least 1 kill onto EnVyUs, but not going to be in a position to pick up the spoils of that kill, that being the AK. Luke himself might want to see exactly where that gun is dropped and deny it from the enemy. After this, however, with Vehicle having armor, a flashbang, and a Desert Eagle, he is going to be looking to save this, because if you take a look, $0, it's a long way back money-wise if he's not able to hang on to it, and Passional will get that kill, which is quite good for them as they want to keep the CT economy down. They pretty much want to do to EnVyUs what EnVyUs did to them. And it seems like they're actually getting into their form a little bit on this second half too. At the very least, they're having a lot more fun with the T side than they did with that CT side. Now EnVyUs in this particular round, however, have decided that they want to stack A side, which for quite a minor economy buy is pretty much just stacking up the odds. You hope that Espada decides that they want to run into this one site and commit everything and run into a bit of a gauntlet, so to speak. However, Espada is doing the same thing that EnVyUs have done, and they're pretty much just trying to find some information and make well-informed decisions, which is a good idea. Sixer hoping to get the CZ. This stage of the game, you pretty much scrape any dollars you can, whether it be in the form of utility or guns. Passional, however, is looking to clear the site, and with this new information for them, Espada will decide to go on to B, and they have pretty much secured this win unless we can see some Academy magic here. At this stage, though, it was always going to be a bit of a gamble for them, and if they weren't able to get Espada to run onto A, then that's pretty much it. Oh, get your gun out. He's going to see it. He will. And that is 2 kills for EnVyUs Academy, which is going to be good for them. At this stage, as far as ecos go and eco stacks, getting 2 kills for a team that went to the other side It's not the worst thing to happen. That said though, they do have the round locked in, and it will be 6-13. Jax, however, able to score a lovely headshot through that rather narrow angle there. Now Lambert is doing something downright offensive. Why he is playing with the AUG, I don't know. In fact, it looks like it's cost him the benefit of helmets, or actually, more importantly, a little bit of extra utility. So Lambert, you better do something golden with that, I guess. On the other hand, Passionor, looking to make some more money here, is going to get a little bit crispy, but hang on to that Mac 10. And yet again, they are just making these information plays. Passionor getting the information that a bullet did enter his head, courtesy of Jax. EnVyUs will decide to fang a hectic U-turn and head back because he does not want to give them any additional kills. Passionor, though, only had a Mac 10, so at this stage he was hoping to get some money. The unfortunate side of that, though, is that he does turn this into a 4 versus 5 in EnVyUs Academy's favor. Now, because they are CTs, they do still have to divide themselves up between these two sites, about as even as they can, to B, 3A. Lambert will spot Romy on the Diggity side there. As a result, Petit will be keeping an eye out in both apartments and the cart on Diggity side as well, as Romy does actually move up very slowly, making sure that he's not so visible. Lambert killed before he had a chance to use the AUG. Tragic, if not a little bit silly. And rest in peace, AUG. Espada, though, losing that round. They haven't been able to be quite as convincing in their T side wins as EnVyUs Academy was, and therefore their economy is actually a little bit shit. Excuse the French. Passionor getting very toasty down the bottom there. It is reduced down to 40 health, which is not good. Romy, however, will score himself a cheeky kill from Boiler, able to peek out onto Lambert at a particularly good time. Sixer, on the other hand, is now wary of this. And it looks like they might have wanted to go for a bit of a push onto A. However, Sixer was able to land an excellent grenade onto mid, blunting the approach from Passionor there. Unfortunately, because he did get a little bit crispy before, was ripe for a nading. As far as the gamble goes for which side has less players, they have picked the wrong one. EnVyUs able to pick up 2 kills there, but it is now a 2 versus 2. Trevel able to get a lovely ump headshot onto Jax. At this stage, if he thinks he's got the safety to do it, he might want to get himself a better gun. But at this stage, if they don't know where Vehicle is, then it is going to be a bit of a risky play, and it might just be better to hang on to the gun you've got rather than gifting a kill. With 6 rounds to 14, soon 7 to 14, Vehicle probably feels that his team has a good enough lead that really it's all about just doing some damage and causing a bit of hurt, which unfortunately he won't be able to do. He will want that AK though, and they might have heard the weapon drop or not, because they are looking the other way. Vehicle able to bring an AK into this next round along with his armor, a bit of utility, and the defuse kit as well. On the other hand, whilst Espada has most of goodbye, we do see Passionor onto a Mac-10 again. Hopefully he will be a little bit more conservative. And it seems like he might be. On the other hand, we are seeing vehicles setting up over on the B side, rotating towards the A. However, Jack's sitting in the middle of these advancing T players who are now retreating. Who knows what he'll see, but he has been spotted, and this could be quite bad for him. I don't think he actually got a player count, but he was able to get enough information, or it was decided that we being EnVyUs Academy, put 3 players on the B side there, but we are seeing a bit of a retreat from Sixer now, who I guess is trying to be a bit more of a fluid player between the two sides and go where needed. 50 seconds left, and Espada have just been sort of poking and prodding on either side. They're still spread out pretty evenly. However, with Trevel and the gang falling back, it is looking like they have decided on a B execute here. EnVyUs appear to be reading this a little bit as well, with Sixer coming back to this B site. 25 seconds left. We will see a push onto the site that gets immediately flashed. However, EnVyUs not able to blunt the approach of Espada. Oh, very unfortunate for Sixer. If he could have scored that kill, he might have been able to secure the match point for EnVyUs. Petit going down to Luke, and Espada continues their victory run. As you can see, it is a little bit harder fought than it was for EnVyUs on their sides. Most of their wins coming in with... correction. EnVyUs did have trouble with a couple of rounds. I guess they just made it look easier. Espada able to pull their thumb out and make good plays here. Having a bit more fun with the terrorist side, and EnVyUs able to score a immolation onto vehicle, almost pinging Jax through that smoke as well, which would have been huge. And we don't know if Luke's is actually suspicious, although he is now, of course, because Jax does poke out of that smoke. They know they've scored a couple of kills over on the B side, and that will force a bit of a rotate there. So do they want to commit to this A site? See what they can get. Petit up in the apartments, hoping that he might be able to get a kill onto the T's out there, but unfortunately won't, almost losing his own life in the process. EnVyUs hoping to get a bit more information from this B side there. I think as soon as they figure out that they've all rotated to A, we're going to see a B play. And with 40 seconds left against an eco, they might feel that they've just got the time to sort of run in and do what they want. We are seeing a lot of utility being used over on B side there, but no real rotation from these other Espada players. They may have been hoping for a bit of an aggressive push from the A side players down mid to try and flank through Banana, but it wasn't going to work that way. And they will plan onto the B side, and that is pretty much it. It's another round for Espada. Petit getting caught by a very sneakily hidden Romy. One of those deaths that makes you yell out, what the hell was he doing there? And at this point, with 5 players left alive and a alright enough economy, Espada tries their hand at hunting down the remaining CTs as well. Sixer about to walk into some trouble there from Romy, who has been having a little bit of fun as a lurker this round. He's able to score himself a couple of kills. Lambert is able to survive, and as a result, keep a bit more utility. That armor, which most importantly here, does allow him to pick up that second AWP take a look at the scores there. Espada not having any real breakout star players here. You can tell from the fact that these rounds are a little bit harder fought for them. EnVyUs, on the other hand, Petite is going a little bit ham. Sixer is actually down the bottom there. Espada showing clear preference towards the A side this round and aggressively moving out, which, as they are playing against a rifled up EnVyUs, might not be the best decision in this case. And I think they're starting to feel the same, so they have moved back a little bit, maybe deploy a bit of utility and make sure when you run out there you've got a bit of extra coverage. Passionate would call that one of the players is on the Archer's side, has run out and run straight past Sixer, who will get an excellent spray down. He doesn't get Passionate, but he does get two other players, which will be a little bit devastating for them. Passionate able to get a good angle onto Lambert there, and Jax in turn able to trade the kill. Jax himself in a bit of a tough position. There's not really much he can do here. Hopefully this flash will blind the enemies it needs to, and it blinds one of them but not the other. EnVyUs still hanging out in the apps, trying to pick out these last two CT players. He will of course call that they're both on that side now, and Luke will get one, but will he get the other? He will. Jax walking straight into that. And that is basically 3 HP that kept EnVyUs away from match point in that round. Espada like to leave things a little bit too close for comfort here. And EnVyUs in this case just opting to go for some better pistols, but not really much else beyond that. No armor, no diffuse kits, and only a couple of smokes here. Hoping that they may be able to blunt the approach of the T's. However, it does not work out for Jax, so it's pretty much up to Vehicle in this case, with Sixer rotating through now. Espada, yet again, playing this bit more passively. They're still split quite evenly. They just want that information. Despite the licking that Espada has been getting for a lot of these rounds, especially that first half, I am actually enjoying some of the plays they're making. Or at the very least, Luke getting the Zeus out of Boiler was quite fun. Vehicle will score that first kill onto EnVyUs, moving into the site. However, we are seeing the T's pushing onto A site in turn. Vehicle obviously wanting to get that AK before going anywhere, because if he has to fall back here, he's at least got a rifle. Sixer also picking up a rifle as well, and able to get a score onto Romy in the pit, and it's now down to Passionate and Luke sort of bottled up on this side as well. It's down to Luke, who also dies, and that is a match point secured for EnVyUs Academy, which off the back of an eco round has got to be a little bit inspiring for them. However, in Espada's case, for such a hard-fought T-half, this has got to feel pretty bad. You've got a lot of work to do now. You've got a lot of money behind you, though, so you might be able to at least push this to overtime. At this point, it's yet to be seen if they do just want to break out of their current mold of information gathering. It seems that Jax will do exactly that and makes quite a forward push onto Banana, but will fall back after that. He didn't get the immediate kill or payoff that he wanted, so didn't want to risk anything further than that. On the other hand, you will have Lambert able to score an AWP kill onto Banana. Passionate going down, and it is now a 4-on-5 with EnVyUs, also copping a bit of a hit from that as well, it seems. Don't know if that would have been close enough for the CTs to hear on B. But at this stage, a flash with no smoke or anything to follow it up doesn't really sound like a push on to B. And because of that, we still have 3 players over on the A side. Espada, with 45 seconds left in this round, got to be feeling a little bit of pressure on this. Luke having to creep up, scoped in as not to make any noise. But because of that, he won't be able to see Jax, who in turn may potentially be blinded by that. But on the other hand, is totally not. And he pokes out at the right time and scores at least 2 kills. Romy is down. It is down to Travel, who has been spotted. And that is it. GG for EnVyUs Academy. Well played to Espada, of course, in that second half, but they weren't able to bring it back, unfortunately for them. Now, thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe if you'd like to see a few more of these out-of-the-way matches. It's what we like to cover here. And if you have a match that you'd like us to cover, or something you think we should be keeping our eyes on, just comment below and we'll be happy to check it out. Thank you, and good night.